The original message is divided into block of 512 bits. Suppose if you take 5 as the row and A as the column, we have the 5B. State will be subjected to the subbyte function. Only first row has the values. All the remaining rows will be considered as 0. Only authorized persons can use the data when we use the Whirlpool algorithm. Hello students, welcome to the next session of network security. Let's start this session. The session is about knowing the algorithms that are used to maintain the data integrity, to protect the data integrity in the network environment. We know about the concept of network integrity, isn't it? So we have to maintain the integrity of the data by using some of the algorithms. What are those algorithms that we can use to protect the data integrity? The first one we have already studied is the SHA 5112, isn't it? 512 bits of algorithm, hash algorithm we are going to use for protecting the integrity, isn't it? Secured hash algorithm or SHA with 512 bits have been used. Today we shall look at another algorithm that is used for the same purpose, that is the Whirlpool. Okay, so Whirlpool is an algorithm. It is an iterated cryptographic hash function. Again, it is a hash function. That means it produces a hash value from the message to generate a message digest. What is message and what is message digest? I have already explained, isn't it? The message and the message digest, isn't it? So the document and the signature of the real word will be transformed to message and the message digest. It is compressed message will be called as the message digest, isn't it? So Whirlpool is an iterated cryptographic hash function based on the Miyaguchi-Trennil scheme of using the digest. We use the cipher method to include the cryptographic, that is the plain text, the cipher text as well as the key will all be XORed to get a new digest, isn't it? So message digest will be obtained by XORing three values. That is, one is the key value, another is the cipher text value and the plain text value. All three will be XORed to get the new message digest. So this is the Miyaguchi-Trennil scheme that uses a symmetric key block cipher. It uses symmetric type of block cipher. Even though it is a asymmetric key type, the asymmetric key is another one. This is whole set of new algorithm which uses the symmetric key cipher in place of the compression function. The first one was with the compression function. The improvised Miyaguchi-Trennil scheme uses the cryptographic cipher method or the symmetric key block cipher instead of the compression function. Okay, so the block cipher is a modified AES cipher. We know about the AES, Advanced Encryption Standard Cipher, isn't it? So block cipher is a modified AES cipher that has been tailored or that has been modified only for this purpose. We use the Whirlpool for same purpose, or we use the modified AES cipher for executing a Whirlpool algorithm. Let's know about this. This is the Whirlpool hash function we use. This is the diagrammatic representation of the Whirlpool hash algorithm. Here we use the original message. This was the original message. Original message will be the odd multiple of 256 blocks. We use the padding to get minimum, or original message will be padded with certain message length Okay, so message with padding and length field will have multiple of 512 bit blocks. Okay, so it will make the message with padding and length field. 256 will be for the message length and original message will have odd multiple of 256 bit blocks. Okay, so message with padding and length field has multiple of 512 bit blocks. We have each block with 512 bits. So it is divided into blocks of 512 bits. So this will be acting as a key. This is the plain text we use. Plain text with the Whirlpool cipher. It uses the encryption, that is the advanced AES cipher is used to produce a cipher text. All the three are XORed to get the new message digest. So this is the message digest which will be obtained with each intermediate block. We use this message digest to produce these 512 bits of message digest. As we know, it is 512 bits of message digest that must be produced. So the original message is divided into block of 512 bits. So these 512 bits are applied to each of the cipher which produces the cipher text. This cipher text acts as plain text for the next block. Same thing will happen until all the 512 bit blocks are finished and we are going to get a message digest, final message digest with 512 bits. Okay. So here we have the general idea of the Whirlpool cipher. How does the cipher method will be carried out in the Whirlpool algorithm. Here we have the AES cipher methodology we are using. We are taking 512 bit of plain text where we use a pre-round transformation. This will have 512 bits of key, round key, combined with 512 bit of plain text. Okay, first round it is. So it will combine all two and we get the next round. And again another round key with 512 bits. Again it has 512 bits. It will be given to round 1 and the cipher text from the previous transformation will be taken. There will be round 10. We can transform it. So we will apply the same method for all the round 10s and we get 512 bit of cipher text. So we use the AES cipher along with the Whirlpool concept. Okay, this is the general idea of the Whirlpool cipher method, how you can use. Okay, so next thing is the block and state method in Whirlpool cipher. How do you use the block and state in the Whirlpool cipher? We use the block which will be converted to the state. You know how you can make that. I have already explained in the AES cipher. I'm not going to repeat it once again. So each column or each bit in a block is converted to a row and the column. So we have 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. First block will be occupying the first row and the second will come to second row with same number of columns because each block has same number of bits. So you can get a matrix of 8 cross 8. So insertion and extraction is row by row. We insert the block into state row by row. This is S0, 0. This is 0, 1. B2 will become 0, 2. We use this expression to get the value. From BI to SI, you can use this format. And from state to block, you can use this format. Okay. So yes, I minus 8, if it is 0, 0 by 8 is 0. 0 mod 8 is also 0. So it will be 0, 0 for B0. When it becomes B1, it will be S1. 1 by 8, it will be 0.10 only. 1 by 8 will become 1, isn't it? So 1 mod 8 will give you the remainder 1. So it is B1 will become S01. Same with the B2, 2 by 8 is 0, row value is 0. 2 by mod 8, again it is 2. It is 0, 2. Same expression is used that we have used in the AES for transforming the state to block. Okay. Now we can transform from state to block for encryption as well as decryption. Encryption will be done over state, so block will be converted to state. Decryption will be done on the block, so state again converted to block types of text. Okay. So we have the structure of each round in a Whirlpool cipher. How does the structure of each round is? So each round uses 4 transformations. As you can see, there are 4 transformations that can happen in the Whirlpool cipher. So we have the state. State will be subjected to the subbyte function. It will give you the state with transformed or interchanged columns. Then we have get the state with subbytes. Then we get the shift column function. Shift column shifts the function. Then we have again same block is converted to state. In the next step, again state is converted to block and mix row all function is applied for it, and again it is converted to state. In the last step, the add round key method will be applied with the block from the state and with a round key. So key is added only in the add round key method and which converts it into state. Okay, first step in the function or the Whirlpool cipher we use is subbytes will used as we use in the AES. If you remember the subbytes, it is transforming 2 bytes that is represented in hexadecimal to another byte. You are transforming the current state of the byte, isn't it? So current representation of the byte. Like that, in even Whirlpool cipher, we use the subbytes to provide a non-linear transformation. Okay. So subbytes transformation in the Whirlpool cipher can be done like this. We use a particular cell here, then that cell will be represented in the state form. The blocks will be represented in state. It represents A row and Bth column. So A row and Bth column value will be provided for the table to transform. The transformed CD will be converted to another state to make it for the next step in the AES cipher, isn't it? So same method is used in the Whirlpool cipher. We use transformation from one state to another. So it will be transformed using this table. Suppose if you take 5A and 5B, it will change in only the second byte, isn't it? First byte will be same as it is. Second byte if you take, it will change in only A and B. One value will be changed. So how does transformation changes it to different value? Suppose if you take 5 as the row and A as the column, 5A is, we have the 5B. So transformed value will be 5B for the byte 5A. When you take 5B, next we have 8. So 5A and 5B represented in hexadecimal will be transformed to 5B and 8, 8 in 16. 5b with hexadecimal, 8, 8 in hexadecimal. So these two values will be transformed to this using the sub-bytes algorithm. So invert sub-bytes will be there, which can be used in the decryption. Same method will be followed. If you take the same table, so it will be 5b. 5b will take 8, 8. So it will be transformed table we get from the block. This is for the encryption process in the Whirlpool as well as the AES cipher, isn't it? Here, in this sub-bytes in the Whirlpool cipher, we make use of the mini boxes E and E dash. So E dash is the inverse of E. Each block, each byte from the blocks is applied to the E and E dash mini boxes, which are going to be ORed with the values. A1 is XORed with B1 and is fed to another mini box R. Then again A2 is XORed with B2 and again it is fed to the another mini box R. So Whirlpool is repeating in itself, isn't it? Circulating in the same position. Here also, so same bytes will be circulating with the inverse value to get another box known as R mini box. It is provided to R mini box and again it is reversed with XOR box. Each value is XORed with the plain text. We get the cipher text here and the key is combined to get another set of values. It will be transformed. Okay. We use the basic concept of AES cipher transforming. How does sub-bytes is going to work in Whirlpool is like we use two mini boxes E and E dash and another mini box R. So all these three will be XORed to get these values. Okay, so we have plus XORed with each value and get the next bytes. Okay, so these bytes have been shown in the form of the block. We have the output of E box and the input and output of E dash box. We get the inverse input output for E and E dash. It will be inverted and both will be fed with the XOR operation to get in the R box. Okay, so we get this value. This is how you get the sub-bytes in the Whirlpool cipher. After the sub-bytes, again it is transformed to state. Once the state matrix is obtained, it is applied to shift column algorithm. So shift column transformation will be done in the Whirlpool. One column will be shifted to another position so that you will get another transformation. Like we get the shift of the columns to the next value. So next value will be taken same as the AES cipher. So values will be shifted down. There is no shift of values in the 0 and the 7th column because even if you shift the bits, it remains in the same value. So shift column value will be applied to other columns and the bits will be shifted. So main purpose is to transform them, okay, to change the original form of the message. So shift column will be done using the shift column transformation algorithm. Then next thing is once the columns is shifted, next step is mixing the rows. Now we have shifted the columns, but rows are same, isn't it? Row values are remaining same. Now we have to transform the row values. You have to change the row values. Normal method of or normal representation of row must be changed. So for this, again we use the state. We use the mix rows algorithm to mix the rows, bits in the rows will be mixed, which are multiplied with a constant value. As I said in the AES cipher, it is multiplied with the constant value and we get a new transformed state which is applied with this constant matrix 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 4. So this is the constant matrix we can use to apply a transformation. We use this state for transformation. Once it is transformed, both the columns and the rows are transformed. We apply transformation 3 times in each round. The last step is to add the round key to get a message digest. We use the add round key transformation in the Whirlpool cipher. We use the key byte. There will be a state which is applied for each block. We get a key byte XORed with one of the byte to get the add round key. We get add round key and again it is transformed to the state. So you can use the same AES method since we use the AES cipher only. So the same steps are repeated even in the Whirlpool cipher. We get these values here as in the state and we are going to get the message digest. Okay. Next is the key expansion. How does the key expansion can happen in the Whirlpool cipher? Okay. Here we get the plain text with the key value. Apply the add round key algorithm. Then the subbyte algorithm to transform the values. Then shift columns. Again second round transformation. Shifting the bits to another column. Then mix the rows with the other row values. Again, next transformation. You are continuously changing the values. Okay. In the last, again, add round key method is applied to get the message digest. Then we get same method repeated for all the 10 rounds. Same method is applied and we get the cipher text. Okay, so this is the decryption method. So this is key generation. We generate the key along with the transformation process. So key is applied to add round key, mix rows, shift columns and subbyte. Reverse of all these steps will be done in reversal order as well. So we use all the 10 rounds to get the final cipher key. Okay, so this is the Whirlpool cipher we can use to transform the method or transform the plain text to cipher text. Okay, so we have the round constant that can be used for the third round. So use the third matrix RC3 which will be applied with the same AES cipher method with the Whirlpool cipher which has this constant. You can observe that only first row has the values. All the remaining rows will be considered as 0. Okay. Now we have the main characteristics of the Whirlpool cipher. What are the main characteristics is block size we fix is 512 bits. Cipher key size is also 512 bits. Number of rounds we follow is 10. There will be key expansion using the cipher itself with round constants that are used as the round keys in each of the steps. Next, substitution will be done by using the subbytes transformation. Then permutation will be done using the shift columns. Then mixing will be done using the mix rows transformation. Lastly, round constant will be obtained by cubic roots of the first 80 prime numbers. Okay, we use cubic roots of the first 80 prime numbers to get the round constant. This is all about the Whirlpool algorithm that we can use for the data integrity. So you can confirm that only authorized persons can use the data when we use the Whirlpool algorithm. Thank you.